Alright, welcome back. Today, we got it just about finished up. We got it mounted on the tractor here to make it easier to work on and make sure it fits. I did have one problem. I went from the top of my collar down here, where the pin slides in, to the bolt that I welded on. You can see it better on this side. 8 inches from here down, which is what I figured would work. Just enough room to move through there so it doesn't hit. And unfortunately, on the design of my tractor, as you can see, that nut that I welded on there, which is actually a coupler that I cut down to the right height, welded it in, it is right in line with my pins. So the remedy to fix that, for my particular tractor, yours may be different, I'm going to cut this plate off that you used to use to bolt to the ears right through the hole right here. I'm not very good at this yet. I'm going to cut that plate off, stick the pin in from this way with the grease fitting over here with a 90-degree grease fitting so I can grease it. Then I'm going to drill a hole here, probably down here somewhere, and just put a 1/4 bolt through it with a nut. And that'll solve that problem. That's what we do around here, solve problems. But I also welded a piece of 3/8, I'd guess probably 2-inch pipe across here to stiffen this. Pipe works pretty good. Some people say it don't, but pipe doesn't twist all that easy. Like angle iron, C-channel, stuff like that. Once it bends, it stays bent. Pipe, if it bends, it generally goes back as long as you don't bend it too bad. But on the bottoms, I welded my plates for the bottom edge. They're supposed to be 60-degree angle from this flat up. I got mine at a 45 because I didn't like the 60-degree angle. I can move it if I have to, but all the attachments I'm going to use, I'm going to build myself. So I can make it however I want. You can too. And what else? Oh yeah, everything's made out of 3/8. The handles right now are made out of 3/8, but the pins actually have a 1/2-inch shoulder here. So you want to use 1/2 inch, because otherwise you end up, I don't know if you can see that gap under there, but there is a gap. You don't want that. You want to make sure when you buy these collars that your block here sits flat on your plate. You want it to ride on the plate. Some of them, they actually cut a groove in here where the pin, this pin, rides in and out of a groove so it doesn't get catch. But with these collars that I bought from Tractor Supply for the 3-point reducers, they're thin enough, they're actually at the perfect height with these pins where I don't think I'll have to worry about it. If I do, I can cut a hole later. I got trusty Chinese plasma cutter for that. But yeah, I cut my handles out of 1/4 or 3/8 plate. What was left from making everything else. This is all one plate that was 3 feet by, I believe, 15 inches. So I got everything out of it. But I'm going to recut these handles out of 1/2 inch. And basically what I did was this center to center is 2.5 inches. This one is a 1-inch hole. I'm using 3/4 inch bolts here. So you need a 1-inch hole, 3/4 inch hole. I didn't have a drill bit. I just went and got one. So I just used the plasma cutter to hack these out. But this is just for figuring purposes to make sure I got everything right and where I need it to be. So I'll make new handles and put them on there. But basically it works kind of like this and like this. And when you buy the pins, you'll get the bolt and the washer, and that goes in there. And the way the pin is made, if you have 1/2 inch plate, It'll give you just enough play for the handle to pivot when you tighten the bolt all the way down as tight as it'll go. And then for the 3/4 inch bolt, I just went and bought some springs from my local hardware just to see if they'd work, but I don't believe they're strong enough, but they were the thickest ones the hardware had. You just slide them on the bolt like so with a washer underneath and screw it into the handle here. Sorry about the video recording. I've never done this before. I'm just a truck driver who doesn't like to pay for stuff, rather make it myself. Not a filmmaker, but this one's not adjusted. You adjust it by this nut here on the top. This one over here I got adjusted already. It actually functions like it should. As you can see, I got it down about 4 turns and it works perfect. Alright, let's see. Locks in. This hits here as a stop. And then when you pull it up to release it, you're going to want to put a stop somewhere so it doesn't come up too far. Now when I make my right handles, I'll probably just leave a little nub on here just to hit this so it stops it and doesn't come up too far. Because when it comes up too far, as you can see, it kind of binds, but there's also no grease in there yet. I still got to drill and tap this collar and put a grease fitting in there so I can grease the pins. But when it locks in with the proper tension on the spring and everything's set up right, it stays in place. And when we come around here to the bottom, see it from that angle, there's your pin sticking out that's going to lock your bucket in. Now, I haven't locked it to a bucket yet, but I may end up moving everything down another 1/2 inch so this pin protrudes further through the plate a little bit and into the bucket. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to have to build a bucket or the brackets on the bucket and see how it works out. But yeah, I think I covered everything. And all total into this project, all the metal I had laying around, the ears came off the bucket. This was a plate that was, I believe it was about a 40, maybe 50 pound plate. $1 a pound is about 50 bucks. This I had laying around the pipe. Because every time I go to the scrapyard, I bring home something. Steel. Plus I work at a steel factory, so occasionally I get plate here and there. Nothing this thick though. They don't cut nothing that thick. But yeah, let's see how it works. And I'm gonna have to get some spacers. I'm not saying how your tractor is going to be set up, but mine's set up with an 1/8 inch space because I spaced these exactly what they were on the original bucket.